You're watching The Breakfast Club.
Morning, everybody. It's DJ MV Angela Yee, Charlamagne the Guy. We are The Breakfast Club. We got some special guests in the building.
Yes, sir.
They've been married 30 years.
What?
Y'all look at all.
We got married at 5.
Yeah, look like y'all got married at 5. David and Tamela Mann, welcome, guys.
Thank you. Thank y'all for having us.
Now, one of our young girls that works here, her name is Nyla. And Nyla said, man, those two right there are my relationship goals.
Man.
And she's 23. I was like, wow, bro.
That is great.
By the time we were 23, we were married 2 years already.
Damn.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because so you guys have this memoir out, David and Tamela Mann, Us Against the World, Our Secrets to Love, Marriage, and Family.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of things that went on when you guys first met and first got married that the general public wouldn't know about because it didn't start off so perfect.
No.
David had a second child.
Yes,
Well,
he did.
it was. Well, see, it ain't. I wish it was that easy and that plain and dry. But in the chapter, we have a chapter called "The Knock at the Door," and the knock at the door. Imagine 5 years into your marriage, you going good, the career's getting off the ground, everybody cool, and then there's a knock at the door, and it's the constable telling you have a child from a previous relationship. And I was like, "What the wait?"
How old was the child?
5.
Oh, and you've been together how long?
5.
Oh, my
So it was
goodness.
right before we got married, you had this relationship thing going on, and hello, and imagine me trying to tell her when she came home from work.
How did you tell her?
It was not easy. So I'm going to tell you, I literally sit and came up with many different ways. Maybe I'll just come out and just say, yo, hey, we got another child. No.
Ain't no we.
It
It is a we. It turned out to be. But
didn't have to be a we, but go ahead.
it didn't know. And so I wound up just sitting her down and said, dear, the situation, I got served today and we have another child. And it didn't go too good.
No.
Talk to me, Tamela. How
I was upset.
Man.
I was upset. But the thing is we started out friends. So I knew the girl and I knew that he had been with the girl. So it's it wasn't new, but it was man, I just hate it was this person. I hate to say it like that.
You didn't like her.
I mean, it
It's
was
not that she didn't like it, just we didn't want any drama.
It wasn't it wasn't good.
Yeah.
Let's be honest, it wasn't good, honestly. So I just was like, okay. But the baby, I know the baby didn't have anything to do with it, but I just didn't know where we were going to be standing. Because he was a friend, we was friends when the first baby was born. I was there when the baby was born.
Sheesh.
So it's because
well,
we
you
were
have to
just
understand, we
was
started
like
off as just friends.
like best friends.
We were
so,
homeboy, homegirl.
So we was
working together.
we was
singing
singing, yes, and it was all that, and then for this other one to come up, I was a little upset.
So
look,
she said, "I'm not finna."
and I told him, I said, "You on your own."
And you already had a child.
I did.
together
So
at
wasn't
this
no
point?
we, David.
I was like,
When
"You
she
on your
said,
own."
now when she said that, we driving in the car, and she said, "You're on your own with this," and it took the air out of me. I was like, "Are you serious? You're gonna leave me out here by myself?" So you can't leave me out here by myself. Don't do that, please.
I was just sitting
And
there.
I was just crying. I was like, "You're just gonna leave me by myself?" And I was. And so that's how the Us Against the World came about. And I sit her down and explained to her, look, I love my kids. I'm a stand-up guy. I'm gonna take care of my kids.
Right.
I'm gonna do that. But at the end of the day, it's me and you against everything else.
And once
it's us against the world.
And when he explained that to me, he did the Spock thing. He was like, "It's us."
Yeah.
He really did.
It's us and everybody else.
He was like, because we was young. He was like, "It's us." And then it's
Why you gonna
everybody
try
else.
to
Because it made me. He really gave me
He's
confidence.
good.
He
He's
gave me
good.
confidence that it was gonna be us, and then everything else.
And that's what made you.
It made me stay.
And
It
Tamela,
made
you
me
were very open in communicating what your concerns were also as far as what your relationship would be like with David.
Yeah, I was like, where am I standing? Because I didn't want this person to come in. Because her spirit was just to come in and kind of take over.
She didn't want nobody else to be able to come in and dictate our relationship through a child.
That, and then even with the baby, it's like, what am I gonna do? And once he explained all that to me, I was really cool. I was able to forgive, honestly.
How did your relationship with the baby mama pan out?
It turned out we just worked together because of the baby. Honestly, I mean, it's I'm cordial. I'll speak to her, and because we were all in church and singing, so it's I would see her. So it was how you doing? But I didn't have no words.
How many times you had to call on the Lord to not whip her ass, though?
Well,
And she's not a fighter.
but
She
honestly,
can't fight
the
anyway.
thing about it
Tam
is
can't
I
fight
wasn't gonna
anyways.
have to fight her. People was willing to fight for me. I had
I'm
people
talking about.
was like, "You want me to get her?" I was like, "No, we're not gonna get her."
But the thing is, you would not know, if you've seen her and our daughter today, you wouldn't even know that it's not.
She my homegirl.
That's her child.
That's great.
But
That's her
should
child.
be, yeah.
David,
our family is seamless.
Why do you think she didn't tell you before that? Like, waited till the child was 5 to actually bring this
Because he wasn't popping then.
Cause she was somebody else was in the picture.
I don't know if it's I don't know if it wasn't I don't know the
What the what?
circumstances. You know what? To this day, to this day, we still hadn't sat down and had a conversation about why she didn't say anything. It wasn't. It was just like, look, I got to take care of my child. Let's get on with life.
But
You sure? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
it was upsetting for the baby. Once
Right.
she got older and we explained everything. Some things it brought a. It was kind of.
It brought a little division.
Yeah, it was
that
a
the
little
hardest
thick.
thing that y'all had to face in your marriage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there something else?
It was earlier.
Well, David, we've been doing our research.
When you I'm just saying, what else could be harder? I mean, like, besides another woman, what else could be hard? Like,
That
you
was
got
so
a child.
early on. You got 25 years from there. So after that, it was
It was good.
It
I mean,
was.
it's like, that's one of them things
You got
that
to get over that hump early.
it
was.
almost broke us up. So and we were just thinking on the road, like, what if she'd have just said, we're done? None of this would be possible. It's like, wow.
We wouldn't be here.
Now, a lot of people, don't. It don't seem like you should be doing all that in the church. You was getting it in, huh, David?
I wasn't getting at now. I was young.
He
You're
was,
talking about,
look,
you're talking about getting
he
it
was
in.
getting,
Oh,
but he
no,
had,
I was like
he didn't have
20.
he didn't have a true commitment. He was around church.
Gotcha.
A lot of us was
Wait,
around.
you gonna try to throw me out
No,
there
we
talking about
all.
he?
Let's be clear. He
I'm
was
just
singing
saying,
with Kirk Franklin,
but
so you already know what it is.
But he wasn't. Well, we
No,
wasn't
don't do
singing
a
with
boy
him.
like that.
Well, not like that. Not like that. It was like we was local famous then.
Yeah.
When we was singing locally, but we all wasn't where we are now. We wasn't as grounded. It's like, of course, when
I was
say
a 19, 20-year-old
it's like you-
kid doing what
19, 20-year-old
Your
kids
kids do.
Yeah. Just
That's
happy you
Tamela.
was
dumb
in the
and
church.
stupid.
And we don't have a perfect picture here. Even with our marriage, we don't try to paint a perfect picture. We have ups and downs just like everybody else, but we just learned to work through them, and we took divorce off the table early. That it's not an option for us.
Now we took divorce off the table, but if
We did.
somebody beating you upside the head, run. So I ain't
Right.
saying that for everybody.
Right.
Don't try to stay in something that you don't need to stay in.
And you're very clear about this because you also talk in the book about getting married and feeling like, Tamela was pregnant and you felt like it was a thing to do, but you're very clear on don't get married just because
Yes.
Exactly.
of a child.
kids, right?
Because whatever, if you do that and the child grow up, you're going to be left just like trying to figure out who are you? Only because a kid. I didn't want to get married because we had a kid and she was pregnant. I said, no, I got married because I was in love with this woman and she was my best friend. That's what we based and we built our relationship on, was friendship.
Right.
Like we were really ride or die. I mean, you don't understand. She was at the hospital when my first child was born. Like, she came, what you doing tomorrow? You don't have to go to work. Come to the hospital. We just chill. 21 hours she stayed at the hospital just chilling as my friend.
Yeah.
I kissed her one time and she fell in love and we got married, but that's a whole nother
That's not
story.
how that story
What about
read.
the women you dealt with before, though? Did the women you dealt with before say, I always knew you and Tamela had
Yeah,
something
that
That came
going
up.
on?
Like
It
your baby
came.
moms
It
came
came.
up,
It came up.
It did come up.
But we were just. We
Look,
were
it
friends.
did come up.
She was the reason that I was even able to see my child, because me and the mother fell out.
Because they didn't get married.
Yeah, and we didn't get married. We fell out, and it was like, Tam was like, "Hey, I'll get the child. You'll be able to see your baby,
Yeah.
and
How'd you
everything."
get the child?
Because I knew the baby mama. I knew her actually before he did.
She hated you.
It wound up, she didn't say she hated me, but she said she knew that I was interested, but she
We
didn't
were
know.
friends. I mean,
But
we didn't know.
he was my friend, and I thought it was wrong. I feel like it's a wrong thing to do for a woman to keep the father from the baby. I mean, if y'all have misunderstandings, that's cool, but it has nothing to do with the child.
Yeah, to hold
so
the baby
I
hostage.
just I just stood in the middle and was like, I went, actually, and she lived kind of a ways away. I would drive, go get her, and say, I'll keep the baby the
That's
weekend.
why I think she was trying to get me
No,
right there. She
I was
trying to
actually
get through my
being a
child.
friend because I felt sorry for the baby because he wanted to be involved in his child's life.
Right.
And I mean, the baby was too young to speak up for herself. So it's like I helped, build a relationship.
We had a lot going on.
Even
man.
with his mom. It's like, so his mother could be with the grandbaby because she was like one of the first grandbabies. So and it was a girl, so of course she gonna want to be with the baby. Out of 5 boys, yeah.
But David had his time running around. Tamela, did you ever date anybody else before?
I dated a little bit, and then in the book, I don't even tell it. I did date a little bit after we started talking.
Tell the truth, shame the devil.
We was friends. We was friends now.
See, okay, wait. Do you notice her tone change, like when she get in the hot
We was
seat?
No, it's not that. I'm trying to say it without spilling all the beans
Oh, but
out
you
of the
done
book.
spilled on mine, so you don't want to spill
Well,
on
it's
yours.
not that. Well,
Tamela was engaged right before we
Wow,
got hooked
David, you
up.
couldn't wait to throw your wife under the bus.
See, she
We
tried
talking about me.
Y'all about to
I
be coming at me like I'm the only heathen
But
in this
it's not.
situation.
She tried to
I had
ease-
some heathen things, but you know what? The Lord, I have favor with God. I ain't gonna lie.
Yes,
Wait a
ma'am.
minute,
I
but
did
what
my
that have to
dirt,
do
but
with
I didn't
anything?
get caught. I didn't get caught like some people got caught. You got caught. I just didn't get caught. The
Oh, so
Lord
that
was
made
looking
you
out
better
for
than
me.
me?
It didn't make me better. I just, don't be bitter because I didn't get caught.
So what happened to your fiance?
Well, he
You gotta
left.
tell him about the
He
host.
left, and I can't tell you all of
Read
it.
the
So, man,
book.
you have to read the
So
book.
the fiance
Okay.
was there, and he came behind the fiance
No,
and swept you
well,
off your feet?
we was singing together, right? We were singing together. The fiance had left and went away in the service, right?
Went to the
So
military.
His name, he should remain nameless.
he was nameless. He went to the service. So while he was gone, we had really just started talking, and we started dating. And then he asked me to marry him.
What did
while
you
he
say?
was
What did
gone.
you say?
I said, yeah, you're not doing the interview.
Oh,
they
okay,
are.
my bad.
So he asked me to
No,
marry
what
him,
did you
but
say?
we were singing
can't
together.
stop.
I said yes,
Oh.
but we were singing together, and it's like all the time we were spending together. It's just like I started falling in love with David because of all the time and seeing that he liked all the things that I liked, and by the guy being away, we really didn't get to connect like that.
Right.
So we had a connection, and when he
You
came
and the,
back,
you and me or you and the guy?
you and me,
Oh, okay. I'm just
boy,
trying to
don't do that.
Were you ever jealous of all the women that David was running around with?
No, but y'all not gonna let this pass. Y'all stayed on me for like 30
No, let's
minutes.
get it. Yeah,
I
let's
really
Y'all gotta-
wasn't.
We
I
can't
really
pass.
wasn't.
How did she get out of being
I wasn't
engaged to
jealous
get to me?
because she's not trying to tell all the stuff in the book. I really wasn't jealous, honestly, but I was just kind of around.
Mm-hmm.
I was around and just hanging, again, as his friend. So it really wasn't. You know how you have that hope that maybe one day,
He'll stop being a hoe.
well, not just that, but
I was. I mean,
but I wanted, but I wanted
Thank God
somebody,
for deliverance.
I wanted somebody to be with me and not be
Yeah,
whoring. You
Did,
know,
did the women talk about David? Like, boy, he good in bed.
No, because I didn't get
She
I
said,
didn't
"No, he
get
wasn't good."
that. I wasn't that connected with them
Got you.
to know that,
Now, the
But
guy
till
that-
later.
Now, you were engaged to the man that went to the military.
This man's
When he
heart
came
you
back,
broke.
He came
After
back.
him
what was his
serving our
reaction?
country.
Yeah, how was his reaction? He served in the
After him
country.
serving our country and you breaking his heart.
he came back and they had some words.
David and the man?
David and the guy, yeah.
You put them holy hands on him, David?
He was about to.
I got to fight every night to prove my
My
love.
You know, to see
He was
because he
about
had
to.
been kind of saying a few little things like what he could do, and I didn't mind, because it was okay if
In,
you want
in his early days, he was he was a fighter.
Yeah.
He would fight. So, but no. So what happened when this happened, y'all? This in the book. Y'all making me tell all the good stuff.
They'll read it to get the details.
But we were at church, right? So when the guy came,
God stepped to you at church?
I
No,
didn't know that
she
he was
was at-
gonna be there,
and then I showed
and
up
he showed up. So it's like
because I
was.
heard he was
man.
gonna be there.
So they was outside about to have words. So they
We
beckoned.
wasn't gonna have no words.
They beckoned for me to come out. So I
You
walked.
thought we were gonna
I
have
walked
words.
out. Y'all,
All
this was
hands.
crazy. I walked out and I saw them two talking. I just turned around and went back
Oh, you
inside.
ran. You said, I'm out here.
I was like,
You went to go get an usher to break it up.
I'm like, I'm not finna
No,
be
she
in the
gonna
middle
go
of this.
sit back up in the little choir stand. I said, you need to come out here so you can see
I was
this.
like, I'm not
what's
finna
about
be in
to
the middle
happen.
of this.
What if
You
you
have to
beat
make a
your
choice.
ass, David?
But the thing is,
He didn't even know what was happening.
he had a couple of his brothers.
My brother
like
was standing behind him, and he was on the balcony. He was gonna throw him off the balcony.
Goodness gracious.
Thank God for deliverance.
He was vicious. I mean,
Thank God for
David could be
deliverance.
very vicious. The thing is, he's the nicest guy, but he could be very vicious. I'm just gonna leave it like
Thank
that.
God
Godly
for
about throwing him off the balcony.
Well, he wasn't
I was
being.
gonna pray that the Lord didn't kill him. Thank God for deliverance, y'all.
They ain't out here in deliverance.
Yes.
Look, when you walked in, y'all both got on camouflage. You was like, "I'm ready for war. It's us against the world." I'm like, "Who they fighting?"
No, we're now. There is a theme to the us against the world.
Us against the world. We're fighting against anything that would come against the family structure. That's what us against the world. The U is for all of us. Because I just feel like our families are in attack or being attacked.
Yeah.
Oh, that's been going on since the beginning of time for black people.
It has, but the thing is we have. I don't understand. I don't think we really understand the power that we have when we unify.
Yeah.
And I just want us to unify to save our family.
And I know y'all president keep talking about make America great again. It's not going to happen until we start at home.
With families.
With the families. Until we just get husband and wife on the same page and get family pulled together. It ain't gonna happen, dude.
Now, one thing you guys had to deal with was success, right? And with success, which of course you wanted, to not have to struggle, but at the same time raising your kids, right? And you tell a story about traveling.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
And your son was acting up in school, so just talk about that.
Part of the whole thing with success, it's bittersweet. Because something has to be sacrificed, and for us, it was our kids.
Yes,
it's hard to say and admit, but your kids get sacrificed because you're trying to make a better life than we had.
We didn't have.
And so my son just started acting up. I'm say, hey, dude, if you keep on, I'm gonna get through with the show, be on a plane, be at home in time enough to come and get you, and be back for the next show. Well, he woke up that morning and I was laying on the couch. He didn't believe me. I came home, and this is how cool it was. I prayed with him and say, son, what do you think should happen? He said, I think I need to be dealt with. Then I got back, but he hit me. Let me tell you how hard he hit me. He said, you can get off the stage and come home when I'm in trouble, but you can't come home and just see me just
At
for
the
nothing.
game.
At the
At
game.
my football game.
Wow.
Right.
At the game.
When I tell you I was devastated because he was right, but he didn't understand at the time that I had to work. We had to go get it,
Right.
And so now he kind of understands because he works with us and his kids, when he get ready to leave, so you got to go again. So he kind of gets the whole situation.
But back then, they're like,
It was hurtful. Because my daughter Tia is here now. When she was younger, she was like, well, why y'all have to work out of town? And, and her dad explained to her, some parents work downtown, but we work out of town. So it's like.
And she didn't even understand.
For kids, for both parents not there.
Yeah,
It was.
yeah. And
It
we
was.
were at a basketball game with her one time, and she's dribbling down the court, and people are trying to take pictures at the basketball game. She stops in the middle of the game, her dribble, and said, really? This is what y'all gonna do at my game? Y'all not here half the time, and now y'all gonna take
Get
pictures?
Yeah.
We just sit like, oh, that was cold. That was rough.
Oh, she stopped in the middle of the
in
game.
the
She
middle
did.
of the
She was
game,
Did your
dribbling.
teammates yell at you?
so was that a double
Yeah.
dribble?
Yes.
Got you. She got the same temper as her daddy. I can tell. She ready to
Her
fight.
daddy's the sweetest guy you ever want to meet.
Okay.
Till you
Now,
piss
I
him
love
off.
the sacrifices. That,
then God bless you.
we talk about relationship goals, and you guys have made a lot of sacrifices for each other. And you actually were Mr. Mom
Yes.
for a period of time, and some men's ego won't allow for that to happen.
As long as the check was coming, I was cool with it.
Now, what you mean, Mr. Mom? She was working and you were taking care of the babies.
So doing Tyler Perry's the Diary
Diary
of a Mad Black Woman?
Woman.
She went out on the road by herself.
Yeah, he called me. He was like, well, I don't know if David, how he feels about you coming out by yourself. And I talked to him, and he was like, it's cool. So he left, and because normally between his mom and my niece kind of helped us with the kids while we were gone. Our family kind of kicked in. But when he stayed, and he said, yes, he was Mr. Mom.
When I tell you, that's the hardest job ever.
But it's the best feeling in the world, though.
It is. I don't get it where guys say I had to babysit my kids.
That's the dumbest shit in the world.
don't babysit your own kids. They your kids.
I can't
How
stand
about you
it.
I have to
babysitting
be
your
a dad.
Oh, when they
How
be like,
about
I
that?
take care of my kids, you supposed to.
Yeah, that's your
Yes.
job.
Yeah.
I was like,
It's like, I got to keep the kids.
now like with me, I don't, no offense to anybody, but I don't need a woman to help me take care of my kids. I could change a diaper. I could throw a kid up and before they hit the floor, change the diaper in the midair.
But don't throw the
Well, I ain't
kid
gonna
up.
tell that lie.
I'm telling you.
I feel you, but I got 3 of them. My new one is a month old.
Oh, you got a new baby.
I got a new baby, but I was Mr. Mom for my first child because I got fired. My child was born in June. I got fired in November, and I didn't get another job for like 8-9 months. So my wife used to go to work, and I used to be home with my first daughter so much. But the reason I love that is because me and her got such a bond
Yeah.
now because of that time.
Oh, wow.
And see,
so
I
y'all
really,
so you tight.
Oh yeah, that's my
See, I knew how to take care of the kids, so it didn't bother me. The
I
problem.
can't do hair, man. I can't get the hair.
He couldn't
thing.
do the hair good, but he tried.
But you wouldn't believe what I used to do before I started doing this. I was a hairstylist.
Oh, that's
women.
right. You were.
Yes.
Oh, so you were good with the hair.
I could do it, but I couldn't get them little twigs, the little ponytails. One of my daughters was bald
How'd
headed,
you
so I
get into
couldn't
doing
do it.
hair? Like, what was like you said as a kid?
I ain't gonna lie, David. I used to think
you.
you was gay back in the day because of that. Because I knew that. Because I'm big on Tyler Perry stuff, and I was like, I didn't even know y'all was really married until like later
growing
on.
up, you know, Charlamagne playing
That's a-
football, playing basketball. You just want to do hair? Just
No, I boxed. I played football.
How
I
did
did
the hair come about?
Cause we used to have my mom's
They were
house
barbers.
full of like, and then I started realizing the ladies are making more money than I'm doing just
I know
cutting.
that's right.
So I stopped doing guys' hair. I was like, the most I could make back in the day off of a guy was $25. The least I could make off of a woman was $35. I was like, the math is wrong.
doing hair.
Yeah, I'm gonna do ladies' hair, so that's why.
So you still got that skill? You ever do your wife's
No,
hair?
when I quit, I quit.
He always, well, sometimes they would get him to relax their hair.
Yeah, I quit, and I
Then he
said
would
no
trim, and she was like, "Come on, trim my hair." They would kind of convince him every now and then, but he was like, "I know
Nah,
how to."
I say
what's
I'm
this
done.
polypep? What's this?
You break your polypeptide bond. That's when you break down the relaxer, sisters.
Are you sad Tyler Perry's killing my deal?
Yeah, kind of, sort of. You know, I don't know about this, y'all.
He said-
Between us, I don't know if Maria gonna die for real. Y'all
You don't
think
believe
so?
it? She's having a funeral. You think
I
you're going
don't
to come up out
know.
the coffin?
They said they already did the movie.
I don't know, man. You
Emmy's
know,
never seen a Tyler Perry movie, so he has no idea.
Who?
You haven't?
I've never.
Well, you got to see
Why?
it. You got to see one.
You ever see the plays?
Nope.
Okay, now you're gonna come see the play. That's all I say. The next play you got to come see it.
I grew up off the place. I'm from South Carolina.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
because
just
we can't. Oh yeah.
Township
Carolina?
Auditorium in Columbia. I used to
Yes,
stay in
yes, sir.
township. Yeah, you
Love
really know.
them.
there. Yeah.
And they redid it. It's nice.
I haven't seen it since it's been redone.
Yeah, they redid that. Backstage was terrible, but it's nice.
Horrible. Dude used to have a cooler with the snake in it.
He
the fake
still
snake.
got it.
He still got it?
Yes.
Oh,
Oh,
okay.
y'all talking about a cooler with a snake?
Columbia,
Oh,
South
cool.
Carolina.
Oh,
Relax.
we supposed to be talking about the
Oh,
book.
we sorry.
Where's the book? Okay,
Us
my
against the
bad.
world.
Cooler with a snake? What country type of?
Is it hard to mix business with pleasure?
For us,
Yeah.
not really, because I think because it's something that I always wanted in my spouse or the person that I was going to be with. So it's just really worked out because our goals are the same.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like our drive. I mean, his drive has made all of us, the family, pick up our steps because of his drive. So it really, it kind of worked. It just works for us. It may not work for everybody else, but it works for us.
Especially when you guys can make each other better, too.
Exactly.
Now, you talk. I'm going to read a little passage from the book.
Mm-hmm.
And I love this part, right? And you talk about Tam being ready. He said she just needed an extra push. That's what we've been for each other. When I thought I was at the end of my creative rope, Tam would push me to go back to the drawing board. In fact, countless times she pushed me to further my career in acting, and I was so grateful. But you said, I see in Tam what she doesn't see in herself.
Exactly.
And she sees in me what I don't see in myself. Tam was committed to doing plays because that was my passion, but that wasn't hers. Singing was her passion.
That's the truth.
And you were nervous about that.
I was scared. No, not nervous, scared.
You were scared.
I was scared. Yes, that's my true text. And I was afraid, because music is like you said, just read. It was my passion, and I was comfortable in it. And it's like, but acting, it's like I felt like I wasn't truly in my skin, or the direction. But with him directing me and giving me guidance, and then with the direction too, also of Tyler, and people constantly saying that you got it. It's like, eventually you'll start believing it. If it's really something positive, it could be, that could work negative or positive.
And even with when we were doing the book, we did a CD to it. And I haven't sang for like 15 years in the studio. And so, quite honestly, I was terrified.
Right.
I mean, I refused to do it other times because she's been trying to get me in the studio to sing forever. And I was just like, nah, I'm not doing that. And it was because I was intimidated. I was intimidated trying to sing with her. I was like, I'm not going to do this. And for like 2 hours, the first 2 hours, I literally talked myself out of doing the project. And then I went to the bathroom, went in the back, and had a little come to Jesus meeting with myself and talked to me. And we came and did the project, and she was like my biggest cheerleader.
Yes.
So she made me better. She was like, dear, you got this. You can do this. You've been doing it. So that's how we wind up doing the project on this.
How do y'all take breaks from each other?
I don't need a break. She does. I'm too much for her.
I go get my hair done, get my nails done. But that's kind of like, that's my me time, you know, because I do need it. And I tell any
Why
woman,
you need a
and
break from me?
well, I just need time just for myself.
Am I
it's
too
not
much?
Yeah, you're a little much if you can't be much.
How you gonna just dog me out like that?
It's not dogging. I mean, it's a good thing.
I never need a break from you.
But he doesn't, but I do. Even for that's what I tell them, you have to take a drive or something. But I tell my daughters that are mothers, you have to make sure that you're together in order to take care of your family.
Now, I didn't used to need a break from her, but like in the last year and a half, this menopause stuff is killing us.
You gonna put her business out there like that, David?
It is. I mean, but it was much for me. I'm like, this ain't me. This not me. But I think that's what causes a lot of marriages, and I know we're not talking about that, to break up. Like, once you see people quit after 20, 30 years menopause, and if both spouses are not in tune. I said that
because we talk about it a little less in the book.
It's not in tune with each other. It really can cause a breakup because we go through this thing that really, it's like it takes over our body that we can't control.
But it's beautiful though, because y'all really growing old together.
We are, but I'm just trying. That's why I'm trying to encourage other people not to quit on each other. That's what this book is about.
Because menopause is like erectile dysfunction. David, you don't know what's gonna happen in the future.
I got some pills. If I'm just doing the pills. You know why guys are embarrassed because they act like they think that they're the only one that ever had to deal with anything. Like, you go pill. There's ways, sir. There are ways, so I'm not embarrassed.
Oh, you've already gotten to that point?
No, I haven't gotten it.
Oh.
No, he not there.
All right, testify. Testify, sister.
We okay. For the camera.
I've never heard anybody talk about menopause and how much that changes the dynamics of a relationship before. So that's interesting.
No.
When you were saying as people grow old together and you're that far in and you're like, damn, what happened?
That's true. But, well, you know, we had a couple of friends of ours that they had been married 30 years, and then they called and said, well, we got a divorce.
What?
And we was like,
Not after 30.
30 something. It was like 32, 33
I was like,
years.
huh? And I mean, the last we talked to them, they was doing fine, but I did see kind of how the snappiness that you can get with it. It's like, I could be happy, and then all of a sudden I'll be like, what? You know, it's just like, it changes. So I kind of understood. I said, I think that's what happened to them once we start noticing what was going on with ourselves.
And see, I'm so in tune with her.
Yeah, David did research on it.
I really read a whole book on it.
On menopause?
On menopause.
What does it do other than make you warm?
Other than make you warm.
What?
Your attitude. It's like really, it's like a switch. It's almost like you're dealing with two people.
Really?
Yeah, because it's like I could be fine, then all of a sudden I just feel real down all of a sudden.
And see, I noticed it when she started like snapping at me because she never like yelled or snapped at me. I'm like, wait a minute, what are you talking about?
So menopause is a mental illness?
No.
It's not a
Well, it's
mental
not a
illness.
mental-
It's a hormonal imbalance.
It's hormonal.
Hormonal
Yeah.
imbalance.
Like your estrogen levels were they're normal, but after so long, your body
are you
stops
married?
making it.
Yes, sir.
You better do
Your
some
body,
research.
your body stops making the estrogen that you need.
I've been with
to
my wife
keep you
20
balanced.
years.
To keep,
Well,
congratulations.
you gotta
We've been
look.
married 4, but we've been together 20.
What took y'all so long?
He
Me
did.
just being black and young. Me, it's all
Yeah,
me.
he-
being black
it took
and
him
young,
long.
man.
Now, it don't got nothing to do with black.
Then
That
he
could
gonna
be
say
just-
this. He admitted that
You were
it
just
was me.
being trifling. is what
Yeah,
you
this is
did.
me. I'm out here home. Me and David.
What is it?
No, you weren't being me. You ain't gonna blame that loud
Hot
me.
potato.
Now, why do you think couples divorce so fast? You know, because my parents been together, I don't even know, 50, 60 years. They still rocking. I've been with my wife 24. We married 17. Like,
Congratulations.
oh, we still working though. We fight.
It's
up
a work in
progress.
We 30 is still work in progress.
I love my baby, but you know, why do you think couples divorce so fast?
I think people just don't want the commitment, and it's like you feel like, you know, like when they say the grass is greener. Sometimes people just want something new.
And you know, we have a chapter in the book called The Art of Arguing. Sometimes we argue to make sure you understand my point. And I want to get my point across, and that's all I'm concerned about. But that's not the way it should be. It should be to get an understanding.
Right.
When we argue to get an understanding, then we can move forward. But if I'm trying to make sure, because see, early in the marriage, I'm quick with my words, and so I would just cut her up and feed her to the sharks and tear her up.
And I used to say, that's so piercing.
I would talk about her family, the dog that she had in her. Yes,
That's harsh.
that was harsh. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, the dog? Why the dog got to catch a bullet?
Everybody got to get some.
Family?
Yeah, the mama, the dad.
it's just whoever can be the quickest.
But see, I was doing that, not realizing that I was tearing her down.
Right.
I was just, the more I did that, the more, respect that she lost for me. And then once I realized that, I was like, wait a minute. I'm killing her with my words.
I feel like when arguing with your wife, you got to ask yourself, do you want to be right or do you want to be happy? I'd rather be happy. I don't care about being right.
Well, for me, it was be right.
In the beginning, it was
be right.
Yeah.
But now it's like he's a totally different person, and it's like me. I was really quiet, but like now, with age and with the menopause, I just be saying. The roles don't switch. I just say whatever comes to mind.
Dear, do
Now
you?
you talk about his mama, his dog.
I tell her, say, dear, do you realize you're yelling? And I'm not listening if you're yelling. So we got to bring this way down. I bring it down again. How you can't hear? I said, dear, I'm not listening if you're going to be doing all this screaming.
That's one thing I learned early on for a relationship to be successful. Like with my boyfriend, I think you have to know how to argue effectively.
Yes.
Because you are going to argue.
That's
it's just
right.
inevitable.
It comes.
But it's just knowing how to argue so that it doesn't spiral into something bigger. You don't keep things bottled up and get so mad you just go crazy. You have to learn how to talk to each other.
That's
You know
true.
the biggest issue that couples have when they argue?
We don't.
We don't stick
Stick
with
to
the
the
issue.
Right. Well, yeah, that's the main thing.
That's the main
Right.
thing. Like, because we always have something stored
always
away.
goes that way.
Everybody
Yeah.
got something stored away that you want to say, I'm going to just keep that until we get into this next argument. And when the argument come up, bam, there it is. You remember when, about 2 years ago? It's like,
It has nothing to do
that's
with
not
nothing.
what we were arguing about.
And they say you can't use the words always and never in an argument. Like you always do this or you never do that. Or you're supposed to say it makes me feel like
Yeah.
this.
Yep.
And that
When
way
you-
they understand you. That's true.
Who could think about that during an argument?
I do.
You kind
I
of have
think
to have
about
a
all
ration.
that.
A no word for us. Our no word
It's
is
shut
shut
up.
up. Like
I know. I don't say don't shut up.
No,
My
because
wife
it
does
just,
shut up.
I don't, that just makes me feel some kind of way. You tell me shut up.
Yeah, it
See,
sounds
I'm
so,
on my
sounds so
Charlamagne
harsh.
shit. I'm like, do you want to be right?
Oh, you want to be happy?
Or you gonna be happy?
That's it.
So I'll be like, all right, I'll take this.
You take-
this,
yeah.
I'll
I know
take
it's
this
But
on the
I,
chin.
but I do that. It's like, to me, I call it the peacemaker.
There you go.
So it's like,
And I
okay,
even
I feel like this is not my battle right now. I don't want to fight this one right now. So
Yeah.
I'm just going. I take this
Hey,
one for the
white
team.
flag,
I
yeah.
take this for the team.
Yeah, but
that's one of our songs that we got.
I
that's
told
a
her
lyric.
you can apologize and you just say I'm sorry, but nothing can be resolved.
Yeah.
So you got
still mad.
Yeah, you got to resolve the issues. And writing this book, it made us go back. Even there was some stuff that I learned about her that I didn't know. I didn't know there's a song we have on the album called Mason Jar, and it came from I didn't realize that she considered herself as a shadow chick.
What's a shadow chick?
A shadow chick would be like some girls that you only want to talk to them at night, or you go by their place at night. You
Didn't want nobody to see you with.
You
That's how
didn't go.
David used to treat you?
No.
Oh.
Why'd you feel that way?
Well, I felt that way because growing up, I didn't have like boyfriends. I didn't have middle school, even like the time, even with people that I did kind of I liked, but they didn't like me back. Would only come by, like, stop by in the evening time.
And she thought because she was
or they would call because I was a thick
Because
girl,
you could
know.
cook. You had the snacks.
Well, this
Are you trying to?
You
but
probably had
even
that
but
Jill
even
Scott.
them.
We seen, that Jill Scott thing.
Well, yeah,
That's what I'm saying.
I
So
probably, but they only wanted to hang with me at nighttime, and I felt like, to me, I was really letting down my standards.
Right.
Then I didn't understand that. I know that now, but it's like they would come by then, and this song is talking about.
What would they do when they come by?
I would have relations.
Okay, all right.
What'd you think they were doing when they come by at night?
Praying.
No, they weren't praying, Doc.
They were
praying.
laying, not praying.
Look, Doc, they wasn't praying. No, but it's that's so I felt like that am I gonna ever find anybody to love me for me and a love that I could cherish for the rest of my life? And Mason Jar is talking about that I finally found a love that I can cherish and put like in a mason jar like you would to preserve.
Yeah.
That's so sweet.
Wow.
I love that.
Yeah, see, I didn't know that. I didn't know that she felt that way, and it made me feel bad once we were writing the book.
He was
I
like, "Was that me?
And what was I
Was it
part
me?"
of
I was
that?
like, but then when
I
he
felt
came,
really bad.
But he hung out with me, so it's like we would be out in the open, but he wasn't like everybody else.
So that's why you fell for David?
That's why I
'Cause he-
felt.
Yeah, I didn't know
exactly.
she hadn't even never been on a date, like
Wow.
an official date, like out with a guy.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
our official
Until
date
him.
wasn't actually an official date.
But it was.
No,
Where'd
it
y'all
wasn't.
go?
We went to the movies.
What'd y'all see?
Oh, I don't remember what we saw.
No, let me
I
tell y'all
remember
what.
who went. That is
This
not
guy
it.
wanted to go on a date with her to take her to the
That
movie.
was different. That was like we was just friends then.
Okay.
But this other guy that took me, Big Rick.
Big Rick.
Big Rick. Hey, why you swallow when you said Big Rick?
I just say Big Rick.
No, she swallowed, David. I don't know.
I
if you
just,
rich.
no, I was just
She
swallowing.
wasn't.
It was
No,
just
when you find out what she
Big
did,
Rick
it was
is like a
ruthless.
big guy, but he was just a friend of mine, and we was just friends.
So he wanted to take her to the movies. You know what she did?
I called
Let's
him
take David. He's really nice. He's funny.
But see, that's because I was liking David, but David didn't. It wasn't like said, but there was a gesture.
He was the shadow dude.
Yes.
Did y'all all go?
Yes.
Who paid?
Big Rick.
David.
Not me. I had no money.
I think Rick did,
Rick paid for all of y'all?
Damn.
or maybe I paid for David.
I see why y'all got into the church. Y'all need Jesus for Rick. My
you,
God. What the hell? What was y'all doing?
We just went to the movies.
We were
That's it.
friends. Like, you don't understand how cool we were. We were really ride or die friends. Like, we were. That's why we wound up falling in love with each other.
And that's why it's like cool. Like now it's like fun. We ain't got to spend no money. We don't have to go nowhere. We just can just hang out. And we lay in the bed and just, I
Talk.
laugh at this guy like,
She's a thick girl, but she's never sick. You know why? Because I keep her laughing, and laughter is like medicine to her. I keep her I told her, you're going to have to start paying me for making you laugh all the time.
She said she laughs at you in the bed, though.
I do. But
Nah, she don't
not
laugh
that
like
kind,
that.
Not that kind of laugh.
She
that's
don't
just
laugh
when we,
like
that's
that.
when we just chilling like
Yeah,
pillow talk.
See,
pillow
you trying
talk.
to, you think you slick.
Just pillow
She
talk.
sit over there with that little pretty smile trying to.
I ain't gonna even go there. I'm gonna be good.
Did y'all bond over food initially?
What you trying to say?
Over food?
What are these questions?
But
What
I
kind of
cook.
dumb question is that?
I cook. Yes, I cook.
I'm saying, y'all keep referring this as a stick. So I'm like, did y'all
No,
bond over food?
it was me. I'm
said
saying
she
me.
was thick.
Oh,
Because
got
I've
you, got
always
you, got
been
you.
a thick girl.
Got you.
Did we bond?
That ain't a bad
Guy is
question.
so
Punch him in the forehead or something.
You might have to put, where's your brother, man? You might gotta get your brother to jump him, man.
No, I'm gonna jump him.
What advice would y'all give couples on how to stay strong and committed to one another?
I would say if you start on friendship, but try to outdo each other doing for each other. That's one thing that we do.
That's like something we do all the time. Cause she would never be able to outdo me doing for her.
So if I could get up and make him breakfast, make him a night, then he'll turn around and try to make me one nice. But, I cook better, so of course I'm going to win.
Bonded over food.
It's not just that. But
What
I
you
mean,
trying to say? You trying to say 'cause
everything's all about food,
it could be
David.
flowers. I'm just using that as an example
Is he
of one
trying
thing.
to throw slurs?
No, I'm not.
I don't care. I don't care.
What the kid?
I don't care. I know I'm a thick girl, and
No,
yes,
wait a minute.
I do eat. Hallelujah.
Are you trying to throw slurs? Because if you want some, I can give you some.
man, I'm just
You know
saying.
David's a fighter.
He's a
that's
fighter
not
and
what
he's
I'm
a
saying.
comedian. That's,
You got another question? You want any more food questions?
No, I'm not asking no more
Was there ever a
questions.
point when you guys
What's your favorite
It's
food,
done.
guys?
was there ever a point you guys thought it wasn't gonna work?
That the fifth year, the knock at the door. I mean, serious, the knock at the door.
That was it.
That
almost.
scares me right now.
It
But
almost.
Envy, I hope not.
No,
And
not
our
at
big-
my door.
our
They ain't got
biggest-
knocks on my door.
our biggest argument was over a tuna fish sandwich.
You just gave him
You
more
just
fuel,
gave more
mama.
ammunition.
Oh, my
You gave him more
God.
ammunition.
I did.
So tell us about this tuna
I'm
fish
finna
sandwich.
push him.
It wasn't actually the tuna fish
With the
sandwich. Was
mayonnaise
just
on
kind of. Yeah,
But it was
yeah.
just,
So the whole deal
This
is.
sounds crazy. I just want y'all to know. Y'all got in an argument over tuna fish sandwich. Yeah.
but it was because I felt unappreciated. That's what happened.
So
Because
wait.
I had worked. I had been to work. I had left work, went grocery shopping, and by me getting home late, I
But
was
see,
gonna
when
fix
now, the
dinner.
whole thing is when she go grocery shopping,
It
back
took
in the
a
day, she
while.
had to go at 3 stores, buy produce from this, meat from this, cans from this.
Because
Like,
I was trying to,
you
I was
wasting
saving,
gas.
I was saving money. I was
You
going
were
to
wasting gas.
Wasting gas but saving money, buying things in different places
Yes.
to keep the cost down.
It was-
Thank you,
it-
sweetie.
it was not-
Thank you.
no.
See,
Makes sense.
Thank
It
you.
didn't make sense. It was
It
spending
did.
money.
All right, so back to the tuna fish sandwich.
So I had came home from work, put up the groceries and everything, and I was like, since it's so late, I'm just gonna make tuna, and I just made a sandwich with chips, and I served him. I took it to him, he bit it, and he was like,
Now,
"Did you-"
mind your way, but you got to understand,
No.
I didn't eat tuna before this. And she
It don't
started
matter.
making tuna, and she made the greatest tuna ever with a little, the relish was the key to her tuna. So when I bit the sandwich,
Bonding
I
over
was like,
food.
I asked her, did you put any relish in this? And she lost it. Like went off. You ungrateful. She called me
Why though?
Huh?
Why? Just because you said, did you ask her if you put relish in it?
Because she brought it to me and she was tired. She took her time out. And I was ungrateful. I could have just got up and went and got the relish myself. Well, this started a big explosion. So she's like, I'm getting my keys and I'm leaving.
Wow.
Well, you know, everybody.
Tuna fish?
But it's because we
It's a bigger
started.
issue.
I was tired. I was tired. I had worked. I did, and I had served him. And then it's like I felt ungrateful. Like I felt like I wasn't appreciated.
That's real. I get
So and I was hot. I was just mad. I was tired. I was frustrated. Whatever other word you want to put in there, I was that.
And so she was going to leave, but I got her keys so she wouldn't leave.
You didn't want her to waste any more gas.
No, I didn't want her. No. I wanted to be right. I wanted to be the one to leave. So I got my keys and I was going to slam the door. I had it all pictured out. I, slam the door, get in my truck, spin out, and, make it really look good and dramatic. And I just forgot that my truck starter was messed up. So when I went to get in the truck, my truck, I'm in there and I'm trying to be like super bad.
Slam the door.
I'm just rocking my truck, man. I'm trying to get the starter. She runs out and opens the door like, get my keys. And when she opens the door, she hit my foot. And by that time, the truck started. It started, and the door hit her. I don't do no physical stuff at all. So that little thing could have turned into like her getting hurt. And when that door hit her, it just stopped everything. I was like, look, go in the house now, because we got a problem. Because this door done hit you. She just looked at me like, okay, and just walked in the house. But that could have been bad. What if she?
How'd y'all get over that?
We had to cool off.
Yeah.
I couldn't go nowhere because, I didn't know if my truck was going to stop or what. So
What happened to the tuna sandwich?
He just left it, I guess. I don't know. I was so mad. I didn't care if he ate it or choked on it that night. I was mad.
Storm out the house without the sandwich?
He did.
I was just trying to prove that I was right, man. I was young.
Silly.
Yeah.
It was dumb. It was really dumb.
That was like our 6th year. 6 years, like around the 6 years of our marriage.
It was crazy.
Have
But
it gotten easier?
Yes.
Okay.
man, we empty nesters now. We go and come as we please. I understand, and it's just we just living the life, living the dream.
Life is beautiful.
Yeah,
I'm
just here to tell y'all that y'all can make it. After y'all 15 years.
20. He said 20
years.
years. Well,
24
He
years.
married 17 together 24.
24 years.
Man, see.
You in it 24 years. She up and coming.
Yeah, I'm not
Everybody-
married.
Not
That's
yet.
why I say up
Not
and
married.
I said
But-
up and coming.
Thank you.
Well, it's Us Against the World, Our Secrets to Love, Marriage, and Family. It's out right
I
now.
enjoyed y'all,
Make
David
sure
and
y'all pick it up.
Tamela.
Thank you guys for joining us.
Thank y'all. Make sure y'all
David,
have them pick
Tamela
up
Mann.
the CD and all, the record as well.
I heard there's a lot of secular music on there.
It's R&B. People like look at us as the gospel people, but it's just genuine love
It's
music.
good, clean
And you
music.
can see David Mann Jr. is one of the producers.
Yes, yes.
How much you charge y'all for beats?
He didn't charge us nothing. It was for the food that he ate.
Well, there you have it. It's David, it's Tamela Mann, it's the Breakfast Club. Good morning.